Jody Williams.
Mr. Espey, how we doing today?
We are doing great. I'm coming to you from my office downtown sunny Portage La Prairie, Manitoba, which actually is raining for the first time in about 2 months. But
Wow.
here we are.
Whoa.
Here we are on the eve of the Canadian National Arm Wrestling Championships.
The eve, does that start tomorrow?
No, it does not start tomorrow. It is
This
starts
weekend,
on
though, right?
Saturday morning. Weigh-ins start on Friday.
Gotcha. Well, everybody, welcome to another episode. New day, same time of the Can-Am Connection. Ryan Espey, your boy Jody Williams. Before we get to the massacre, how was your weekend?
It was good, man. Visiting family in the Thunder Bay, Ontario area, which is, man, that's a long story. Bio family that I didn't know existed until about 3 months ago.
Yeah. That's always good, right? Different, awkward.
Yeah. But that's what we did all weekend, and just recovering and enjoying time. But my God, how was your weekend? You need to, before we get into the massacre, let's talk about your event.
My event went pretty goddamn good. Our goal was to raise about 4,000, and we ended up raising 5,200.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so awesome event. We even had the overalls, which I thought might have brought more people, which it probably did. Where hey, $500 to the left hand overall should have came down. $500 to the right hand overall. So that worked out pretty good. We had myself, Tim Tomach, a couple other guys reffing. We had Corey Miller brought down his Aries bracketing system. The first ever, by the way, my tournament was, which you know how you fill out your registration forms and it tells you what class you're going to pull in, you circle or whatever. And Corey implemented a rating system. So basically what happened, Ryan would walk up, yeah, I'm pulling the heavies. Oh, okay. And then somebody else, my wife or myself or somebody else would look up your name, see where your number is. Corey would write that number in there, punch it in the computer. Now, the whole purpose of that is to make sure that your opponent would be somewhere in your neck of the woods point system wise. So that was pretty good, actually. You know, it has some kinks and stuff, and it'll get better as we keep doing it more. So that was pretty awesome. I like that.
Well, it sounds like it went great.
Yeah. So why setting up is always a pain in the ass, but I'm glad once we got going, it was good. But prior to that, we were watching at the venue. We were watching the King of the Table 7, which was like, do I even need to get our predictions out? Does it really matter at this point?
Well, I think we were right. We just weren't quite as right as we could have been.
I thought Dave would have won the first match and then Devin would win the last or the rest of them, but
it was surprising that Devin never was really in any danger ever.
So where do you see this going with this new version of Devin and stuff? Where do you see all that going?
Yeah, he's making a run for the top. The weird thing is he's already talking about defending his lighter title against Voivoda at some point. Voivoda's got John, as far as I know.
Yep, contract has been signed.
So that's going to maybe derail that whole dream of having that match between Devin and Voivoda. And honestly, I'm not ready to see it yet because you don't just stick a guy that's been away for a decade into a match with Devin Larratt.
No.
It's a bad idea.
Yes.
I can see how you could promote it, but the actual match is not going to do anything. So, surprising, to say the least. Jay Clean. Okay, I'm going to put this up there. This is interesting. Some things going on with Dave. I don't know, but I'm not sure it would have mattered. Like maybe Devin is just that strong. But Dave's talking about retiring, but he's already got a match with Sonev coming up, which is a winnable match for him, for sure. I mean, that match should favor Dave. It's coming up at the end of August on the same card that I'm pulling Wagner.
Well, you also got to realize that, has Dave taken a break yet?
Not a meaningful one, not a significant.
It's okay to take a break, and I know Ron Bath has said this, years ago, that it's okay to take time off, but I think because the way our sport runs, when someone takes time off, that when you do come back, it's like, oh, now I got all these guys ahead of me and I'm starting to, lose some steam or whatnot. Your body can only take so much. It's okay to take time off because, as you know, Ryan, everybody in the chat understands, when you take time off and you come back, when you're not hurting, you'd be surprised how strong you are when you're not sore.
Yeah, and this is true. Dave's got other things going on, like he had the neck issue, all that stuff, and there's no excuses for any of it because he's arm wrestling Devin Larratt. Let's face it. I mean, think what you want about Devin. The man is clearly one of the strongest guys on the planet right now.
Yeah. So everybody, welcome to the show. Jay Clean's off and running. Russ is in the house. We got Joe Nelson with a comment, a long comment, by the way. Dave Anderson, Brian Gabriel, Street Level, everybody, GB, the rest of the gang is all here.
If Devin and Dave would have stood a better chance if Devin would have got called on his massive movement before the go, maybe. I mean, of course, if you see anything that's off, like against the rules that a guy's doing and they don't do that, yeah, I assume that, let's face it, Devin didn't even need to use all the stuff he would sometimes use if he felt threatened.
Right. Well, didn't he make some kind of crack about, if I feel like he's not there, I'll just go into a hook, look at him, play with him, whatever that comment was. My thinking now, what you just brought up, is the fact that if he's thinking about defending his title, does that mean he has to drop back down to 253?
Yeah, it's not, somebody mentioned 110 kilos. It's actually 115 kilos.
Right.
So it's a little heavier. Yeah, they would have to go back down. If they're doing that title, they both got away there. I mean, Vovoda, no problem. Like, we're not talking about the Vovoda that was in pulling John. He can get that weight easy.
Yeah.
Devin, probably relatively easily. I mean, Devin looked he looked huge and lean for this last match. Like, what was his official weight? I don't know.
He's like Gumby, Plastic Man, where he can like bulk up, slim down, and yeah, that's just what I see.
But I mean, you can't really. Devin's at that level now where you got to match him up with guys from the East.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody from the West here to take him on. You got to put him against a Morozov or an Hermes.
I'm still shooting for that match, Hermes and Devin. I'm still, because the two matches I was always been talking about for the last X amount of months was, one happened this past weekend, and we'll get to that in a minute, and the other one being, Devin and Hermes. But depending on how things are, I mean, I don't know. When are we going to see that match? If we see that match.
Yeah.
Because what I see right now is some collision course between, if Jerry wins this next East versus West, I see a collision course with Devin and Jerry one more time to see who the true North America guy is.
Well, there might be, but I don't like Jerry's chances in that because Devin has cracked the code there too. Hermes is the guy that has the tools, in my opinion, to beat Devin. He is explosive, and that has always been Devin's Achilles heel. And if you're looking at guys like, let's take Michael Todd, Jerry Carteret, Dave Chafee, not particularly explosive.
Right.
Don Underwood is explosive. when he was at his best, he was really fast, and he would give Devin all the trouble in the world.
That means Arnold Classic. That means Armor, Sin City, which you were there on both occasions, were you not?
I was. I watched Don Underwood hit Devin so many times and arguably beat him many, many times, and restart after restart after restart, and eventually Devin won the match. Elbow foul 50 times a match. Well, yeah. Yeah, Taras Evankin was one, Jay Clean. That's going back to, was really quick. So anyway, that's a wash. Devin comes out on top. Dave is probably no farther ahead or behind of where he was. Hey, Street Level says something interesting. KOTT needs to pick matches better, but let's be honest. Did we all think these would be blowouts the way they were? I can't say that I did. I liked, a week ago, I thought these were good matches.
Well, I'll look at it this way. I thought I would have saw more from Corey.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about that match. Corey looked off. He looked off to me coming in. He looked off to me. He looked like he was. Does it make sense for me to say Corey looks smaller than he normally does?
But he's still big to the point where anybody, because some people were saying Morozov in comparison, looks lean, but he always looks lean. Anybody looks lean next to Corey. So
Corey's a huge guy. I mean, Corey was 600 pounds at one point in his life. Like, he's never going to be ripped. He's just not. And I saw Pradeep's critique of him saying he wasn't in shape. Well, Corey West is decently in shape for a guy of that size, and that's kind of where he sits genetically. He is a massive guy who trains hard and eats, huge amounts of calories to get strong, very much in a traditional kind of strongman or old school powerlifting sense. I don't think that was a fair thing to say about him. Well, and Morozov, on the other hand, he always looks massive and shredded.
Define in shape, though.
Well, there's fit and there's in shape. So is he in shape? No. Is he fit? Probably more fit than a lot of people that are 200 pounds.
And I don't say that because fit doesn't mean you got to have six packs. Doesn't mean you got to be lean, because everyone's built differently, right? So everyone weighs it. Not everybody's 6'3", right? You're either below it or above it. Not everybody's, 260. You're either above it or below it. You know what I mean? So again, what exactly is fit? But that is what it is. I was just real like, what the hell,
So Jay Clean said Corey struggled with Farid, and Farid was never considered a threat to Morozov. Farid at one point was a killer, and he was off and on for years and came in looking really good. Corey still won the match, but yes, he struggled, and it probably raised Farid's stock a lot, just giving him that much trouble. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm trying to read through all these comments because there's some good ones here. We're talking 200 kilograms. By the way, did you saw Matt Rhodes ask before the match, Corey, that he did count his calories. Dude weighs like 200 kilograms. Bruh, you don't count nothing in that weight. Yeah.
No shit. Well, I mean, and you gotta remember, in my opinion, and I think I mentioned this before, Ryan, way back, on the show, where I thought Morozov was going to be the face of East vs. West. Because that point, he was just cracking people, pulling two matches, one on each side, winning at that point. And then he took time off because after a while, when you pull that higher level, and you pull both arms, there's going to be some wear and tear. And that's we had told England, hey, I'm going to take some time off. Remember that?
Yeah.
I think that was like a year ago at this time, actually. Took some time off, and like I said before, when you take time off and you resurface, and we see Morozov in the crowd, he just wasn't on the card to compete, and because he had frosted hair or whatever the fuck. But what happened is that when you take time off, it's okay, because then he comes back, he's fresh, he's clean, and like I said before, and everybody in this chat, and Ryan, you will agree, when you're not hurting, you feel a lot better, a lot stronger.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of debate going on in the chat right now about, if Corey was 340, would it benefit his arm wrestling? And that's hard to say. That's
Ooh, I like this Christian Green. I like that. That's a good dude, by the way.
Could be the guy to take down Levon. Yeah. Morozov. Maybe. But I mean, he's probably got the best chance because Morozov will simply be around. If we're just going off age, he'll be here for a long time. Like, how old is that guy? Isn't he like
24 or 25 or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, so if he stays healthy, he'll be here for another 30 years. Like,
let's be real, people.
Age out.
He's from Kazakhstan. He's young. Ungerbayev from Kazakhstan. He's young. Yes, Neil, you are so right.
Yeah.
You are so right. And I know, because this sport is so weird, it seems like, missing, and tell me if I'm right, Ryan, and everybody in the chat, let me know your thoughts are. Because our sport is so unique, it seems like if you miss, for an example, 3 or 4 months is the equivalent of missing 3 to 4 years.
Potentially.
Because it's just so much going on,
So the debate here is, of course, Corey's one thing that he might have had over Morozov was power. And clearly that was not the case. And that was really his one option where he could have won that match, is just being stronger. And he wasn't. In fact, Morozov top rolled him out of the strap and then held on. And Corey had to bail. Then it was downhill from there. I don't know if Corey.
I wonder.
Back to the drawing board, man. He may never. This is a really shitty thing I'm about to say, but he may never give him a challenge.
Wait, who? Corey may never give Morozov
a challenge. I don't know if there is a path, but it's extreme.
Well, here's the thing. Arm wrestling is all about matchups. Just because A beat B doesn't mean B can beat C, right? So I thought Cody Merritt gave Morozov a better fight than Corey did, and both matches were whitewashed, and Corey just annihilated Cody Merritt. So what does that say?
Well, here's the other thing to consider, though. I mean, we can try to compare those things as if it's apples to apples. But kind of like what Neil said, Morozov is not the same guy from event to event. He is evolving so quickly,
right,
that this version of him would have probably destroyed the old version of him and Cody Merritt on the same day. Like, it's, I don't know, man. He is a freak. And I mean that in a very complimentary way. Yeah, Russ Schrader says Cody is explosive. So Cody having the early kind of stopping success probably has a lot to do with his explosiveness.
Mm-hmm. Well, two things. One, and then we'll get on what Street Level said. So Dan Willie says, who is Corey training with? Because, Monster is recovering, doing his own thing and stuff. Do you think that may have a part in that? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you need some good training partners, but I don't know if you need elite training partners.
Well, up to this point, that's all Corey knew was Michael, training-wise. Because
I think Corey does a good job of branching out, but I'm not 100% sure. GB says Morozov Laletin lefty has to happen. Man, I don't think so. I think Morozov just destroys him, to be honest. I think Morozov is heading for Levon, and that's the match that needs to happen.
It does, but do you think a healthy Saplinkov and Morozov would be anything?
Yes, I do. That might be the only good match left-handed outside of Levon.
Right.
But, you know, Denis Saplinkov better get healthy quick because Morozov is, I don't know where the guy's ceiling is, but holy shit. Like he's getting so strong, so fast. The only thing that's going to derail him is an injury.
So there was a comment by Street Level, and Street Level said, you got to have more than 3 matches for that price.
Yeah.
I don't know what the price was, but because I was at my own tournament, and I've heard a lot of comments about they should have better matchups or more matches. You know, hindsight's 2020.
I kind of like the contrast, though. Kind of like the contrast of having the smaller event, you know, because Engen's like you're watching for a whole day.
Yeah.
I like the contrast of the shorter event, too.
Well, I think,
or what do you think, Alex Kurdecha? Maybe he could come back and be a good match for Morozov at some point, left-handed.
Right. How about this? Street Level, hear me out. I thought the last King of Table and that had 3 matches, was a lot better than this one. Think that's fair to say?
Yeah.
Because even though Brzezinski lost in 6 matches to Saplinkov, you know, this Sabin match with or Sabin match with Pavlo that went 4-2. That was exciting because it just turned the needle, right?
Yeah.
So
I think like Jason's saying 5 matches is what it is from here on out. I think that 5 is probably the best.
Neil Pickup. Ooh, highlight that, Ryan.
So Laletin, I mean, let's not jump or bury the lead here. So we got Morozov. We're talking about his next matches. You know, you put him against somebody like Levon, who may or may not be ready to pull left-handed. And then what? Then it's over, right? You wait for the next challenger for Morozov, potentially. But yeah, I mean, I would still buy into a match with Laletin and Kurdecha, lefty.
Dan Woolley said, the question is, will Morozov's kidneys hold up longer than Denis's?
Fair statement. The other thing to consider is, I mean, goddamn, Devin Larratt's left is looking reasonably good these days. So,
but I will say this:
match ahead of a right-handed match
about left hand, because I swear to God that Espey versus Terrence Opperman is looking pretty good these days.
I've never heard that being proposed before. That sounds like a decent idea. I don't know.
I was just thinking about that one day, and I was like, you know what? We need to get my man back on the scene. And what better way than to have maybe Terrence Opperman? I just threw it out there. Maybe somebody might have heard about it. I don't know. Maybe we can get a promoter out there that can probably make that happen. I don't know, but who am I? I'm just a guy just throwing stuff out. So I don't know. But
yeah, well, that's how ideas, how plans start to form here. But I've got a major challenge coming up in August.
Yes. How you feeling about that? Well, first thing is first, Canadian Nationals, right?
Canadian Nationals this weekend. Neil.
Yes, Neil, it is.
Dan, still want to see Ryan pull Merritt. Has to happen. Yes, that has been lined up numerous times, and most of the time, Cody injures himself. ZB, yeah, I will in fact be bumping into Devin this weekend.
And Jay Clean, we're going to touch base on England right now.
So the word around the campfire is that Devin's son is pulling on the youth competition on Saturday. My daughter is pulling the youth competition on Saturday. I, of course, will be there competing in the Masters, and Devin will be there doing a seminar on Monday. A hard bump. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if he even talks to me. He did call me up a couple of weeks ago because he had actually a piece of helpful advice for me that I cannot talk about. But it was regarding somebody trying to gain access to our country and do it through arm wrestling.
Wow.
That's a story. Yeah.
That's 007 military stuff, man.
Yeah, man. So he phoned me up and left me a message saying that I should not be supporting this. And I agreed. Yeah.
There you go. Christian Green says, the one thing that the King of Table did through was further clarify who's at the top. There are some leading the race more now and breaking away from the pack. So, and there's so much crossover with both organizations between that. It's kind of hard. It really is to see who's the person, because the Vons never pulled East First West. So then you got a lot of athletes that cross over, you know. Kurdek has never pulled East First West, you know. I was surprised Ingen pulled that King of the Table. But speaking of which, what about that Ingen and what about that Coach Ray, huh?
I didn't see that match.
You didn't miss nothing.
Blowout?
Yep.
Ingen?
Yep.
As predicted?
Yep. Like it was really like, oh, I saw the word dark card, and my eyes just kind of went straight to the comments over there in the chat. So the thing is though, is that, and this is for everybody, I know, how much was the pay-per-view anyway? Like $15?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to complain too much, because I know a lot of you guys watch MMA and UFC. I know good and damn well it's a lot more money than that. So
$70 up here.
Yeah, I won't complain too much. But I think at the time, if all the matches went the distance, I don't think anybody would complain about the price. I think it was the fact that it was all just super duper one-sided. And that just made people just say, okay, well, what the hell? At least give us two. If you had 3 matches that were going to be one-sided, if you gave us 2 more that were pretty much even, then it wouldn't be an issue. That's the vibe I'm getting from people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't have an issue with the price. Maybe bump it up to 5 matches.
Right.
Even UFC. Sometimes you get shit in the UFC too, and you pay $70 and you watch, 5 fights on the main card that they hug each other until the bell rings, and then we complain about the judges.
Yeah, but we know, and I'm thinking 5 or 6 might be a good, maybe 5. This might be good, because you also got to realize that some of those matches, man, you are there throughout the entire. I mean, there's one East First West card I ordered, and I ain't talking about the first one, because the first one was like, what the fuck? That should have been 2 days. But one of the cards, I think it might have been 4 or something like that, and it was like, my wife was like, "Are you almost done yet?" So it was one of those things.
Solitude. There you go, man. New arm wrestler close by here.
Right.
No, I don't know about anyone from that area. You'd have to go into Winnipeg for sure. But hit me up on Facebook or something. Send me a message, DM me on Instagram, whatever you want. I'll try to connect you with some people.
Rush Schroeder says it all supports the sport and gets it out there for people to see. No, I get that. I think it's just, there's a happy medium where 3 is not enough. Maybe 8 to 10 might be too much, because unless you just say, hey, it's almost like a holiday where, hey, Super Bowl Sunday is damn near a holiday now, where the entire day is built around that. Don't plan anything. Make sure you get your chores done the night before. It's kind of like this now. We're East First West. Okay. I don't give a care what happens, that I'll do all my chores on Sunday to make sure I got my whole free day on this. And I know for a fact, East First West, are we on number 8 now?
Yeah, we're getting up there.
Yeah, so Hermes and Jerry, let's get it, you know. Yeah, let's get it, you know. But still, every time you leave one of these events, there's always question marks, right? There's always question marks. Because now it's like, okay, when do we start seeing some of the people who qualified or who actually won the East versus West finals? Now we're going to start seeing those athletes being implemented in these next couple cards. Yes,
For sure.
yeah,
Bucks on lunch, yeah. If you're lucky, Russ.
we're going to start seeing that. We're going to start seeing. I know there's more dark card matches coming up. I know there's more Iron House cards coming up. Monster Factory will be resurfaced again come the fall. You got Arm Gods. I mean, hey, it's good to be an arm wrestler these days. Yes.
Yeah, that Arm Gods one puzzles me a little bit. So they're coming to Canada and doing a bunch of stuff. Like it's yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on there.
I tell you what, there is one match that I am so intrigued. James Wall and BLM. That right there. I like that one.
Yeah. David, I agree with you because you need to be lightning, I think, to beat Devin.
Well,
Or Dennis Saplenkov strong.
it's either one of the two, right? Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing. Also, but you got to be able to have a plan B, and sometimes plan when you reach that elite level, you got to have a plan C, because if you go with your A move and someone shuts that down, and this is why I've always told people that, in my opinion, super matches is like being a baseball pitcher. You better have more than a fastball, because if they crack that thing out of the stadium, you better have a curveball, breaking, slider, whatever, you know, because your best move and they beat you, then what?
Yeah. Stacks, I would not call that inspiring. It would be inspiring, I think, if it were the other way around. So when the favorite wins, and I think that's what happened here, it's kind of what we expected to happen. It's almost anticlimactic. The method in which it happened, though, I don't know. Jay, I think you're just underestimating. Like, I don't know, man. I think you're underestimating how strong Devin Laird is right now, even left-handed. Now, who knows? Maybe he and I will grip up and I'll be able to see it for myself for a second or two. Maybe in a side room away from the cameras.
And AMC is coming up.
Then we'll have the Can-Am dark card. Single match between me and Devin.
There you go. Don't forget. Oh yeah, the AMC. Is that the one in Australia? Yeah.
AMC is which one is Bowen's?
That's Bowen. That's Bowen versus Artem Taranenko.
Okay. Yeah, and then we've got
and I think it's like Jordan Seal and
Lachlan versus is that Jordan Sill?
Yep.
And then there was someone else.
It was, I think Todd's on that card too. I think he's going to pull the Heather Morris, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
So
AMC is the Russian event. The other one isn't it like AWE or something?
Yeah, something like that. Not AEW, but AWE.
Yeah.
But do you see what I'm saying, though? So, I mean, I know, and there are some people who get, I don't want to say use the word butthurt, but they get so upset because of the fact that we got so many organizations. This is what you want, because it does, every organization is a little different. You know what I mean? Where, hey, you know, they offer something for everybody. So, for example, you take King of the Table. Yeah, 6 rounds. There's a good chance it might not go all 6, depending on the situation. And you're in the smaller venue, you know, where East versus West, it's best of 5, which means you got to bring your A game a lot quicker. You know, Monster Factory is convenient because it's here in the States. You don't have to travel across the country and stuff. Arm Wars, I mean, they laid out the red carpet for all super match. What we know right now is super matches and challenge matches. It's the brainchild. So let's not get that confused. You got the Arm guys doing their thing, AMC's doing their thing. Speaking of what, then you got the Be Strong in Canada. They're doing things too. So hey,
well, and let's not forget. Let's talk about the High Five guys.
Yep.
The newest promotion that is putting on one of the best North American cards we have ever seen, coming up at the end of August.
Is that Magnus? Oh, that's not Magnus, because she has one too coming up.
Those are the New Jersey guys putting that on. So just to quickly touch on that,
please.
I'll pull up the actual match list here if I can find it.
Stevie Diamond in the house. What's up, Steve? I like that idea, Neil. Espey versus Opperman. I like that. Yeah. What do you think?
Who is this guy that you guys keep wanting me to arm wrestle?
I think he's from South Africa. Yeah. South Africa. Yes, Jay Clean. So that match, August, it'll be for Zink and Todd Hutchins. We haven't seen Todd in I don't know how long. So
all right. So the Knuckles Up event, August 26th. The YouTube live event. This is the free one.
Ooh.
Will Blazeski versus Leroy Walker. Jason Merlo versus Nicholas Nanestad. Haven't seen him for a while.
Ooh, Merlo.
Svitin Gashevsky versus Craig Toulier.
Okay.
And then the pay-per-view. Awesome matches. Sabin Badalescu, Chance Shaw.
Wow.
Myself versus Wagner Bortolato. Gabby versus Felicia Eklund. Marcio versus Pavlo.
Ooh.
What?
Now, when is that again? Because Pablo's
Chafee versus Sonev.
Because is the next one is next month, right? East versus West.
Yeah.
Because Pablo's pulling Sanders in that card.
Yeah, and Bortolato is pulling Farit, left-handed.
See, I like that. Okay, so here it is, because these guys are putting their matches on where you don't have to fly across country. Although it doesn't hurt to do that.
Those Brazilians, they don't have an easy travel schedule, but they got to pretty much fly anywhere. I mean,
yeah,
unless Brazil starts hosting matches,
right?
But
at some point, you'll see Espey versus Opperman, maybe Jody versus Uncle John, or Jody versus Jason Hill, or whatever, something like that. Whatever that stuff like that.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We got to start winding her down, pal. And I apologize in advance because we usually stay on for an hour, but I am at my office, and you want to know why I'm at my office? Because I also have my office is in a massage therapy place as well. And my massage therapist is on the other side of that door waiting for me to get off of here in a few minutes so I can get my pre-nationals breakdown.
You mean your masseuse could have been a special guest?
Could have been. Could still happen. Oh, and there's the other thing. Joe Nelson, I see there on there, says, I flew from Victoria to Calgary last weekend for Fraser Benoit's tournament. It was a cool venue outside the amphitheater. Joe, that venue is also the venue that Fraser is putting on the Stronghold event on August the 5th.
There you go.
Same venue. He liked it so much, he switched it to that venue. So Stronghold's got an event coming up on the 5th.
What's your plans in August, Ryan?
August 26th versus Wagner, and otherwise, laying out in the sun.
maybe you might want to stay in shape after Canadian Nationals. There might be something for you in mid-August. Just saying, across the pond, maybe.
Well, I plan to ramp up my training pretty significantly. Yeah. Jay Clean, there's a new PLAP podcast coming out this week, so stay tuned. He's talking about my other channel. He's also a big fan of the PLAP Local podcast and all of my real estate stuff.
I'm sorry. I saw
And Neil,
the comment.
I haven't worked up the courage to ask yet.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Since you got an appointment to go to, we're about to go ahead and put a bow tie on this bad boy. But I will say this. Is who's going live for Canadian Nationals?
Probably Scott McGinnis, I'm guessing. I might do a few little live bits while I'm there. And then we got a podcast next week that might be a challenge to get on, but we'll try because I'm going to be in Nova Scotia.
Ooh, on site. Let's go.
Well, we could do it. Like, we might even be able to move it up a little bit early and do it right from a venue.
I like that. I like that.
So, but we'd have to do it like on the Sunday.
You just tell me when, because I will be up.
Okay. I assume my wife and daughter will sleep in that day after my daughter's competed. I will be up there bright and early because I'm testing for my master level referee on the Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation, the only recognized national federation of Canadian arm wrestling currently. Scott McGinnis says he is not going live. He will simply be recording and releasing at a later date. Okay. Jay Clean, Ryan Espey cell phone podcast. You know it, buddy. You know it.
I'm only looking forward to one match. You know that, right?
Which one's that?
You and Earl.
Okay, I'll make sure I get footage of that.
Yes, please. I'm looking forward to that. So, but yeah, I'd say after Nationals, stay healthy and start preparing. There might be something for you in mid-August. Just throwing it out there.
Okay. We'll see what's up.
There might be a promoter that might, get a hold of you and talk to you about that maybe. So
maybe. Okay. I'll make sure I answer my phone.
There you go. All right, everybody.
Oh, Clifton Erickson just tuned in time to say he lost. Anyway, we'll see everyone later.
Take care, everybody.
See you, buddy.